haven't said this anywhere else, but I want to talk to Dan about spicing up the prize a little bit for Classic, coming from myself.
And so in the last 6 years of Chris Bumstead victories, he would have earned perhaps half the money of Samson Dauda, who won once. And so is that fair? Coach Greg, in today's video, Chris Bumstead speaks out. As you know, the Mr. Olympia champion gets $600,000 for first place. In comparison, Chris Bumstead, who's perhaps 10 times more popular, makes $50,000. That's, in case you're not good at math, 12 times less. And so in the last 6 years of Chris Bumstead victories, he would have earned perhaps half the money of Samson Dauda, who won once. And so is that fair? And so many people are saying, yeah, but the Mr. Olympia Open, it's so much more popular than Classic. Is it really? Which competition are you more excited to see? Now, I'm not saying it's more popular. Maybe it is. It's close. But is it 12 times less popular? And so obviously the categories that bring in more sponsorship money, more fans, more eyeballs, more people buying pay-per-views, those are the categories that are going to make the most money and the ones that they deserve the greatest payouts. But is anyone going to tell me that the Open Class Olympia makes 12 times more money than the Classic Physique division? I don't think so.
I haven't said this anywhere else, but I want to talk to Dan about spicing up the prize a little bit for Classic, coming from myself.
And so Cbum, being such a great guy, he knows that the Classic Physique guys are being underpaid. And so what does he do? He offers to give additional money out of his own pocket.
See some Jim Shark monies circling around, Chris.
That's going to be some Cbum money. That's coming from me, but
it's coming directly from him. And so that is how passionate Cbum actually is. Cbum is the next Arnold. To encourage more prize money, Cbum putting his into the prize fund shows how much he loves the sport, broke the mold with this man. Can you believe after 6 Classic Physique Olympia wins, Chris Bumstead has only half of the one Open Olympia first place winnings? That's classy that Cbum wants to donate some of his own money towards the Classic Physique winnings. It's very sad that the organization only awards $50,000 for a class that I prefer over the Mr. Olympia. The Classic Physique competitors work just as hard. The only thing they do less are the drugs. They have plenty of muscle without the bloated gut, and their physiques represented better.
It's truly been a privilege to be a part of this division, and I really want to give back.
And rumor has it that he potentially may in fact be a judge at next year's Mr. Olympia. Would you want Cbum to be on the judging panel, a 6-time Mr. Olympia champion? Chris Bumstead has seen it all. Some people are going to say, yeah, but he hasn't earned that right. He needs to judge at the bottom level and work his way up to the top. No, he doesn't. He literally set the standard. The Mr. Olympia title is molded in his honor. Literally, they're looking for a carbon copy of Chris Bumstead. Would you not want someone who's garnered this much experience in the sport? The man who put Classic Physique on the map, and if it were not for him, it wouldn't be nearly the sport that it is right now.
When did you decide that this would be it? Was it something earlier in the year? You kind of knew this was your last year, or is something just along the way you said, you know what, maybe this is a good time?
And next, we learn, when exactly did Chris Bumstead plan to retire? Was it on the spot? Did he plan it during prep? Or perhaps he knew all along?
I almost walked away from the sport last year, and it was from a place of a bit of fear, a bit of resentment, and not the place of love that I know that I have for this sport.
He didn't want to retire out of fear. He wanted to retire out of enjoyment. He wanted to go out on a positive note. Last year, he wasn't as happy and almost gave it up.
I stopped training for like 4 or 5 months after the Olympia last year, and I was like, I don't think I'm even going to do the next one. I'll maybe announce it halfway through the year. And then I was like, And
so this is how good Chris actually is. After last year's Olympia, he didn't plan on competing again. He technically was thinking, yeah, I'm probably going to retire. And so he took 4 or 5 months of training. Ramon Dito took 6 weeks and couldn't win the Arnold. He took 4 or 5 months off and came back and yet again dominated. That is how good Chris Bumstead actually is. And so imagine if he had trained all 12 months. He only needs 8 months of training, 2/3 of the year, to dominate. How easy could it be? Could Chris literally take 8 months off next year and come back with 4 months of training and still yet again win? I do think so. And so do we all remember a certain Mr. Olympia champion, Arnold Schwarzenegger, who won consecutive Mr. Olympia titles? No one could touch him. He eventually said, I'm not going to compete. I don't need that. I've done what I need to do. He retired, came back, and again was the Mr. Olympia champion. Is it possible that Cbum will come back perhaps in 5 years? Say, hey, I want to give it another try. I'll train for perhaps 6 months and see if I can once again earn my title.
Started getting hungry, huh?
I got a little hungry, and I was like, I can do another one. I didn't feel fully at peace in my heart,
And so after winning 5 consecutive times, it became too easy. What people need is a challenge, and once something becomes too easy for you, it's no longer fun. Remember Michael Jordan? He retired from basketball to play baseball. You're thinking, why would he do that? Well, he was too good at basketball. It no longer was a challenge. And so he took some time off, took into a different sport, and tried to see what he could do. He then came back and, eventually age caught up with him. But Cbum, he's still young, and so who knows what's in store for him.
The most amazing thing about this weekend was that everything came together. I was at my best. I felt like I had more in me. I could continue to do this.
And so Cbum, he knows he could keep winning. If he wanted to keep winning, he certainly could win 10 years in a row. But he doesn't need to. Why would I keep doing this? I know I can win. There's no challenge in me winning. All I have to do is show up, do the diet and cardio, and I am going to win. Why bother? Why should he put his health on the line knowing he obviously has to use performance-enhancing drugs? He can't do this while being 100% natural, and so he's going to retire. And so one thing that I've been pushing that I really strongly suggest that they do is they add another category. Call it Classic Physique Light. I don't care. But whatever the weight caps are right now, they could be far lower. Many people aspire to be a Mr. Olympia champion. They enjoy the training, they want to put on muscle, but they don't want to be the size of Chris Bumstead, Urs Kalesensky, Ramon Dino, and Mike Sommerfeld. These men are huge. What I would love to see is perhaps they add in another category. Have it 15 or 20 pounds lighter than the current Mr. Olympia, and have it for more mainstream looking physiques. Now granted, when you're 6'1" and 220 pounds on stage would be Chris Bumstead's weight class minus 20 pounds, it's still a monster. They're not going to look small by any means. And many of the athletes are already 15 or 20 pounds below their weight caps. And so by adding this new category, many people are going to compete in it. And in my opinion, and it perhaps is not a popular one, get rid of the 212. Why do we need a 212? Does anyone not think that Keon Pearson doesn't have the physique to compete against the guys in open? Even if he doesn't, does it matter? Why do we have a 212 category? Mike Sommerfeld literally weighed in at 212 pounds. He could have said, I don't want to compete in classic physique. I'll just compete in the 212 category. And would he have in fact won? Certainly it would have been close. And so why do we have 2 bodybuilding categories, but we don't have 2 classic physique categories? And if we want to talk about equality, why do the women have so many more classes than the men? Last I checked, there are more men who bodybuild and weightlift than there are women. Go to any gym around the corner. I don't care if it's a commercial gym like Good Life or Planet Fitness or a hardcore powerlifting gym. There are way more men who lift and train their bodies to improve their aesthetics than there are females. And so if you're trying to talk about equality, shouldn't there be more categories for men than there are for the women? Yet it's the exact opposite. And why exactly is that? Because they haven't thought about it. They're not thinking it's 2024. I wonder if that coach rag makes any sense. Was I not the one that said they need to change the weight cap categories for classic physique to make it more fair for all the different height classes? Oh, and later, what did they do? What about men's physique? Was I not the one that said the guys are getting too big? And what do? They added in weight caps. And so what about women's bikini wellness? The girls keep getting bigger. Too much size. And so look at the winners. Was the women's wellness competitor getting any bigger? People, they start to listen. I make these suggestions because I've been in the sport for perhaps 30 years. And so I'm trying to better the sport. And I do believe that adding in another category in classic physique will only make that many more eyeballs stay tuned to watch the Olympia.
Who would you think has the best chance to take your spot next year?
That's putting him on the spot. There are a lot of great champions, and so who is Chris going to pick?
You know, I'm hoping me stepping away is going to put a fire under everyone's ass to come back even better and better, and I think it's going to be a tight show. It could be Ramon coming back up.
And so the first name on his list, the first name that came to mind, it's Ramon Dino. That is very telling. He could have easily said, it's got to be Mike Sommerfeld. He got second to me. He could have said, it's got to be Urs. He got top 3. Wait till next year. He could have also started with Wesley. That guy won the Arnold Classic, but he chose Ramon Dino. And so in my eyes, I believe that if Cbum had to pick one, he's picking Ramon Dino.
Next year, they're going to be getting a fatter check than I got this year, and hopefully that lights a fire under their ass. And who knows who's going to win, but whoever takes the title is going to be someone that we can all look up to.
Clearly, the check he got is not all that fat. 12 times less than in the open category. And so is that not a slap in the face? Imagine the amount of eyeballs that stay tuned to the Olympia, paying for the pay-per-view, buying tickets to go to the venues, to go and watch Cbum. Is there any athlete that's more popular than Cbum? And so you can argue that yes, the Mr. Olympia is still more popular. Perhaps it's even twice as popular. But does that mean they deserve 12 times more money? If it's twice as popular, should they not get twice the money? That seems fair. And so why is it that Classic Physique is only getting $50,000 when half the money would be $300,000? And so in my eyes, even if they up the prize money to $100,000, it's not enough. I believe they should be getting at least $250,000. Does anyone disagree with me? And so with Cbum retiring and it open for next year, hopefully all the athletes get more testosterone and GO2 max than last time. Everyone knows just how effective these can be. And if you don't believe me, there's a money back guarantee. Code Greg, 15% off. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm. Please like the video if you liked it. Watch one of those 2 bloops. And of course, the cookbook to end all cookbooks, the Circle Diet Book, Life's Work, How to Lose Weight, Keep It Off for the Rest of your life. So you can get these all on the website. And if you got no money, please get the free, that's right, it's free, diet and training program. It's close to 50 pages. There's multiple ones depending on your own calorie needs. And until next time, I am out.